You're alive. Okay. Hello, everyone. So, this is the first time I'm actually on the live stream and I have my X tab open because most of the time, what I did was I would go on here, then get on my phone, and then copy and paste the link, then post it on X. But I just found out I can do everything on the computer. I don't have to go back and forth. Okay, so for today's topics, we're going to be talking about the apocalypse, the terms of service, contract, and Monty Friend Capital, Cassiope. Okay, uh, one more minute. By the way, today is a good day. Every day is a good day. Did you say a prayer? Hmm. But I did every morning and every night. Dear universe, I'm grateful to be alive today. Today is my day. Today I am the leader of my life. Today everything will come into my life effortlessly from abundance, prosperity, wealth, and good people to lead and help me with my business. Wherever I'm being led to, I trust in the process and that you will guide me into many blessings, gratitude. And then I do three bows. Okay, but that is that. We will start after I take one more bite. Papaya is so good, my friend. Gotta have some papaya. Papaya. And did you know that the papaya seeds they are really good for your stomach? And it wasn't hard to get the seeds because the seeds itself, when you have fresh papaya, there is a layer of gel, and that was the hardest part for me to get off because either you soak it in water for like 1 or 2 days, then you squish them together to get the gel off. Maybe I didn't have the right tool to get it off, but that was a pain in the butt. Oh, so good. Okay, we will start with the apocalypse. I wonder if other social media is experiencing the same thing as we Twitter people or XP people experiencing because for the last 3 or 4 days, right, I've been feeling really good, except for today, yesterday, but in general. Why? Because, my friend, I was busy with real life, meaning I didn't spend much time on social media, especially X. Most of the time, I'm on X. A lot of the videos that are scheduled for YouTube, they were back in 2023, and the shorts. Then Odyssey, I started uploading videos from Vietnam 2023 onto Odyssey, and I post every Wednesday and Sunday. And then X is convenient. So, you type, you share creativity, you share opinions, but it has to do with writing. Like you write, and write. So those and Rumble, I scheduled shorts, Rumble strictly for shorts, uh, of my trip in Vietnam. But in the future, I have to shift with my social media and choose which one I'm going to be focusing on. Because right now, it seems like my options are limited, and Rumble seems to be the one that I like. But there are downsides to everything. Okay, let's talk about the terms of service. As we know, in the crypto space, whether centralized exchanges or in general any payment system, you and I, maybe you are a lawyer, but I'm not, and I don't speak that language. And in my opinion, kind of lose my lost my voice there for a little second there. But when it comes to the law, it should be easy to understand. It shouldn't be complicated where in a perfect society, or in a decent society, let's put it that way, a decent society, the rule of law should be clear, the language should be easy to understand. Even a any average adult, even without education, or at least with some education, right? I mean, elementary, middle school, high school, that's the basic. But we have to teach people in the right way, not brainwashing them. Okay, if you have basic education, the rule of law, or at least how laws are written, should be fairly simple to understand. Like filing your taxes should be easy, shouldn't be hard. By the way, don't let me go there, because I've recently saw a an interview on Redacted, Redacted, Redacted. Clayton Morris and Natalie Morris. Clayton did an interview with I forgot the gentleman name, but he hasn't been paying taxes for what, like 20 years or something. And I found out, you should go check it out. It's on Redacted. But it is, paying taxes is unconstitutional. And the moment when you sign that 1040, you are given the IRS the right. That's all I know. The right to go after you, because you don't have to sign it. Like, for example, I found out a long time ago on social media in America, if you get pulled over, usually, there's a reason. You don't want to try this. I'm just sharing you the story. But a police officer cannot come up to you and be like, hey, give me your ID. There has to be probable cause. And usually it can be anything. If they dislike you, they can make it up. Here's another thing. And I say this for educational purposes only, because there are good officers out there. There are people that are practicing their constitutional rights, and there are police officers that are abusing power. And at the end of the day, we're all humans, and if we have a bad day, we can all go on a power trip. So when you exercise your rights, you have to understand, do it from a human nature level, meaning understand that humans are humans, and we have good day, we have bad day, and don't push your limit. But like if you get pulled over when driving and they ask for your license and registration, sure, most people would give it, I would give it, and they would ask for insurance because, like most of us, regular people, they don't want trouble. Uh, but then there are some people that are willing to challenge the law. Why do they do it? Because if you don't understand the law, people can abuse the law and turn it against you. And to me, that is a bad thing. I think we should all know the law. But the thing is that the law is so complicated that, even the language, I feel like the terms, I know I'm switching back here, but the terms of service, how many of us actually read them? How many of us understand what they're saying? Have you ever read any court documents? Have you ever? I mean, I haven't, but they're, in my opinion, they're not complicated. It's just the way that they word it. It can be tricky. That's all it is. I think they're just tricky. And why? Why do they make it that way? Well, my friend, because companies know that most people don't read it. So when you don't understand something, and I say this from personal experience, by the way, when you don't know something and something comes up, like a problem rises, and you are going to be the one that suffer because you didn't read the terms of service. And here's the thing: companies know and abuse the terms of service when we don't read them. Just kind of like all of these bills that are being passed, you know, none of the people in government, not none, I can't say none, there are smart people, there are good people, but when they pass a bill, I mean, they're like thousands of pages, like nobody actually read them. And it is insane to me that when they pass a bill, people don't actually read them and they slip, little thing in there, little thing over here that has nothing to do with the bill. And to me, that is not being honest. And I feel like with the terms of service, it's people are not going to go into read like 30, 40, 50 pages of terms of service. And in a decent society, it should be simple. It should be less than 5 pages, in my opinion. Because the way that I see business, if you are selling something and you advertise the product for what it is, then it should be what it is. Don't spend a lot of money marketing or exaggerating the product and you can't deliver or even deliver partially. Why can we just market the product for what it is and sell it for what it is? And if people buy it and they don't like it, they can return it. I mean, to me, that's business. Now, that is, if you're offering a product or you buy and sell kind of thing. Now, if you are providing a service, it should be straightforward. Like, okay, you collect personal data, for example, because you want to personalize identities. So when people go onto the website, it is easier for them to navigate. Everything is like, there. So straightforward. But the fact is, most companies collect data and then sell it, which is insane to me. And we're not just talking about, you know, an individual company. Sometimes they are required by the government, and you can't blame the government because the government can't collect. I mean, I think they know everything about you, but usually what happens is they go and they buy all of these personal data from these companies because sure, government has your address, your tax ID, your what else, social. They have everything about you, but they don't know where you shop, what you do with your money, blah blah blah. And that's where the credit cards company comes in, or whatever Amazon comes in, or even centralized exchanges, or um, payment processor like payment processor. Put it that way, because I don't want you to use any names because nowadays you never know what you never know what you're going to get blacklisted for. And back then on social media, they call it shadow ban. Now they just limit your reach. It's the same thing, different language, and that is what I'm talking about. The good thing is you don't have to speak the language of a of the law or become a lawyer because that would cost a lot of money and time to go to school to learn and to become a lawyer because we have all of these chat bots. If you know how to use it the right way, my friend. What do I mean? Okay, so a lot of the times, especially right now, I feel like fintech, right, payment processors, I feel like social media, banking, not too much. Yes, banks are somewhat notorious, but then in a way, they were back in the day. Like they're kind of like the um, not industrial revolution, and now we're heading into the digital revolution. But then they're like the giants, right? And all of these tech companies are taking them over. Sure, it seems like there's an integration, but the problem with power is that nobody wants to be beneath anyone. People want full control. Like if I were to be a centralized exchange, like, do you really think I want to work with the bank? Sure, I do, but I want to be the one that's making the call. And I think that's where crypto is going because if traditional banks are not incorporating crypto, they're, I wouldn't say they will go extinct, but it would or will be for bad for business because the majority of people are shifting to crypto. We know tech bros, we know technocrats are in control. We know that the tech people, all of the tech companies, right? They know everything about all of these politicians, all of all of the baby boomers, even the one before that. And because nowadays information is power. Imagine you know everything about someone, you can blackmail them. Is that simple. And the struggle of power is happening right now. It feels like sure they're integrating, the traditional banking and crypto exchanges and with the payment processors. There is a battle and the battle is control. Who is gonna, because when it comes to power, nobody like to be under anybody. People like to be in control. Hell, I would like to be in control. You know what I mean? Mm. Oh, where was I? So today, when it comes to social media, when it comes to fintech, payment processors, um, social media, YouTube, X, um, Facebook, Instagram, blah blah blah. You don't have to read their terms of service, but you can use Grok, you can use Claude, you can use Chat GPT, and just upload the contract. And if you have any questions, then you can ask and understand their basic terms of service. Now, in my opinion, I've seen, because I've seen accounts being deleted, suspended, or even in my case, for example, with YouTube, they didn't tell me why they took away my advanced feature, because about 2 months ago, every time when I usually upload it once a week with the shorts, and when I upload it, I would get views. I would get like hundred, couple hundred, uh, even in the thousand for the popular one, and that's really good for a 250 something followers, right? And then with the long content, like it wasn't much, but it was raking in, and then the fact that they didn't tell me why they took away my advanced feature, because they said that my channel is there's no that's the term that they use, but there's no history. It has to prove that 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 this channel is legitimate, that there's history. And I have two options or three options. Either I turn in my ID for them to verify so they can put it back on. Either I can do a short video where they can know that the channel belongs to me, and they'll put it back. They will give me my advanced option. Or the third option is to they say that it will take about 2 months for the to prove 2 months of channel's history, and it will be and they will grant me that advanced feature. Now, the problem I have with that is that all they said was something about not being positive with the community, and they don't give you specific reason. I mean, they could have pointed out which video, they could have pointed out, what happened, but sometimes they just took it away. And YouTube gave me the very vague answer. And when a company can take something away without giving a good or without giving a proper reason why, and demanded like my ID, demanded like I have to do verification, I think it's bad for business. And the reason why I haven't done it is because I just don't feel right about it. If I did something wrong, let me know, and I'll fix it if I'm wrong. But if I'm not wrong, I will contest it. But just to take it like that. And I've seen channels, years of work, right, being deleted like that. And when they don't give you a reason, And this happened across all social media, not just YouTube. And it will come to my next point with Odyssey and Rumble. Why I started uploading on Odyssey and Rumble, and I only use YouTube for older videos, things that I already have uploaded onto other social media. But pretty much right now, it's just like everything like it kills when they take away the advanced option. It's also it kills the views and it kills the videos getting out to people like like featured by YouTube. And I can say all I want, but if I read the the terms of service, then I'm pretty sure it was in there. It just I didn't read it. And like most people, most users, people are very simple. Like YouTube was, supposed to be a place where people come and express themselves. Sure, there has to be safety measures and for to have a decent community. You can't post porn, you can't do misinformation, you can't, just basic things. But when any company start acting like a judge, jury, and executioner, then that's something we should all be concerned about as we head into the future, because social media does it. Uh, Fintech companies, when it comes to payments, they're doing it. Crypto exchanges, they are doing it. And some of the payment system, right? They are doing it. And when it comes to the terms of service, for example, if you and I were to do business, right? And there's a contract, we signed a contract at that moment. When a company changed the terms of service, sure, it's not mandatory, but in a sense, it is, because if you don't hit that I agree checkbox, you're not going to be able to use their service. And when they update the terms of agreements, you never know what they put in there. So to me, that is not doing business. That is a form of control, right? Damn, this live stream is going to get killed like always, but talk too much, man. Live your good life, man. Don't talk about this kind of stuff. But everyone, I talk about it because it is important. We should be aware, and we should be aware that there are good companies out there as well. Sure, they have to follow the law, the regulators, but I don't. I see it as a whole system. It's not just a company fault. That is why there's a lot of things that America can work on. But the topic before terms of service was apocalypse, right? And man, being on the war, and it's not just the war in Iran. Even before that, right? There were man. I remember I've been on X for 2 or 3 years now. Even when during the Biden administration, there seems to be it. I blame it on whoever is controlling controlling the algorithm, because when you push for certain topic on there, and if that is all people see, that's all the discussion is going to be about. And it feels like the apocalypse. It feels like Trump is losing it. It feels like Iran is making all these music videos. And by the way, the beats, lyrics, I almost feel like we're in a rap game. You know, they make really good beat. And then Trump is just tweeting like there's no tomorrow. But I think the American people, and when I say the American people, I base it off of biggest podcaster, right? Like Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, uh, Theo Vaughn, a lot of people, even redacted, Kim Iverson, uh, who else? Um, but those are just some of the big names. And what is happening in Iran? Like the American people don't want it. I mean, we want we voted for Trump for him to fix the country, not to fight the war for Israel. Okay, and with the Epstein files, like in my opinion, the justice system is broken until we release the unredacted Epstein files and prosecute people on there if they committed a crime. Because that is the most heinous act. When you hurt children, and with the history of America going to war, regime change, bombing other country, killing innocent people, I mean, you're at the bottom of the barrel. You cannot go lower than that. And if you're not releasing the Epstein files and we're not prosecuting people, there is major moral issue in America, and that is why we voted for Trump to put him in there. But he does the opposite. His whole administration, and I think if something is not being done, uh, America is not going to be America. So I will leave it as that, because if you're on X, I mean, this all of the stuff that I just talked about, they're open topics. They're everyone knows. Um, but the thing is, we're still heading for a war. Like people have said this for over a year now. You know, and the Middle East situation, um, all of the warnings were there, but it's still playing out exactly the way that people were screaming about to prevent this from happening. And we are at a point. I've never seen Tucker Carlson pissed, but man, when he made that video, I think it was like yesterday, just about Trump, and I think the country is in a bad shape. And yes, there should be accountability. Like Trump is not a king, and what I don't believe is him that is tweeting. But the thing is, the way that we see the world, we think that is him tweeting, and we just go along with it. But I guess, I mean, it is his account. To me, it is a stage, and that is why, my friend, understand, but go take some time off, because social media is actually brainwashing people. It's and brainwashing people in a way where you still have control. You just don't have much control. Think about it. You are the product of, what is that one saying? Show me your friends, and I will show you your future, right? Sure, You can control what you see on X, who you follow. Even the follow page has been messed up, my friend. I would expect the people I follow, I see what they post because I follow to learn. I follow to build connection. But the follow page is all messed up. Um, about a month ago, since during the war or even before the war, they I don't even get information from people that I follow. And then when you go to the For You page on X, it just, things that they push, things that they topics that were pushed to control the mind of the masses. Have them debate, but it's going to happen anyway. Unfortunate. So, believe it or not, when go back to the terms of service, damn, this is what happened when I talk. I just drift and drift and drift. But at least I'm able to bring it back to the point. Meaning, in America, the people are run by corporations because corporations lobby politicians. And then don't get me started with APEC. And then don't get me started with people in government investing in the military industrial complex. That is also another topic. But the people are not being treated like the people. The people are being treated like slaves or peasants. And that is why the law is the way that they are. That is why all of these terms of service are the way that they are. Why companies act as judge, jury, and executioner with limited recourse. That is why I think what I think. Okay, so make sure you read, but even if you understand, you can't really do much. I mean, nowadays pretty straightforward. If you But social media is pretty saturated. You can try to make a name for yourself on here, but I guess everyone is different. I admired people that are able to run a business and just focus on their business and put politics aside and run business, serve their clients, serve the employees, make good money, and just do their thing. For me, it's a little bit different. It's like I want to build something, but I want to be honest about what I build, and I want to build something that help the world, help people. And in order to do that, I have to share and be honest about what is wrong with the world so that we can fix it. Because if we don't know what's wrong with the world, then how can we fix it? Anyway, hmm. Next topic, contract. This one is going to be short, but in my first investment, so I went to Chris Crone, which was kind of like a mentor. He does real estate. That was my first. I did a couple of videos on it, and that was when I first started out my journey. Uh, it wasn't social media that I started out with. It was real estate. So I went to the event, and it was great. I met many great people there. Chris was great. He was a good salesman, and he was in real estate. So at at the event, I met quite a few people. And when you buy a course, you join the Facebook group. And so I joined the Facebook group, and there within that group there are people that look for investors, and Joe is from the area. He's in Provo, Utah. Joe Herrera. So he was in the Facebook group, and there were quite a few students that people that are new to the event. You come, you hook up with Chris's team, and then there are surrounding there are other people that are on the team, and or people just show up for the event. And sometimes these people, they show up at the event, they look for investors. Sometimes they're related to Chris's team, sometimes they're not. And Joe Herrera, I thought he was part of the team. Maybe he was or wasn't. I don't remember, but he ended up not being part of the team. But in the Facebook group, it seems like he did a couple of deals with other students, and that's why I picked him, because he was looking for investors. And you know how that turned out. Like how that turned out. I documented on my Odyssey channel. It's kind of the same thing with Monty Friend Capital. When people are not honest, they and you call them out, they tend to make up excuses and never delivered. So, and it dragged on. I'm a very nice person, okay? I'm a very reasonable person. But when it comes to people who are unreasonable, there's no need for me to be reasonable. So it took me about a year. Joe kept on lying and lying. Maybe he was telling the truth, but I said lying because every time when he said me something, he said something to me, I would remind him. I would, hey, you said this. How come what is the deal? Like, how come you're not delivering, And with Joe, I did the same thing. I kind of noticed, with after a while, like when I don't trust people, I start recording. I let them know, I let them know just for documentation. Um, but the story with Joe, how it ended was, when we signed the contract, he didn't put the date. So I was supposed to invest certain amount, and I were to get back certain percentage. But verbally, he told me it's going to be anywhere from 6 months to a year. But on the contract, he did not put that. And actually, the contract, it's actually easy to understand. But at the time, I was new. I was like, everyone's in the group. Chris is cool, and like, Joe, he done business with other people in the Facebook group, so it must be okay. Man, but this thing dragged out for like over a year, and despicable. And I was mad. But the contract didn't state the date of delivery. And the thing is, it was a lot of money for me at the time. But the crazy part is, I can bring him to court, but it would cost more money and more time. And that is the justice system in America. When you do, like, when you do business, right? Like, people can breach the contract, but if you want to do anything, you got to go to court. And sometimes you don't even have the luxury to go to court, because in the contract they want you to go through arbitration, and it has to be in certain area. And are you going to pay the lawyer? You're going to rent a place? You're going to go to court or arbitration, and you might get denied because, based on the contract, based on the language, you know. But anyway, now with Monty Friend Capital, I've mentioned this in my in my previous live stream. But I actually tagged them in the title. It used to be Monty Friend Capital, or MF Capital. Now it's Cashew Pay. And the company is a credit conversion. You can use your credit card, your business credit card, convert it to cash. They charge 6%. Each transaction is $40 on top of it. And it takes about 7 to 14 days. So it's been 7 months for me, right? And they're still holding my funds. And throughout the course of the first 5 months, I reach out to them, especially after the 2 weeks. I was like, hey, where is my funds? And they told me that, oh, we have a problem with the third payment processor. In this case, it was WAP, right? So this whole time, I thought it was the payment processor. I was like, okay, how long do you think it's gonna take? I'm paraphrasing here because I posted the evidence on X, called them out, and they blocked me. So this is why I keep bringing it up on all social media. Um, they blocked me on X, so I provided the evidence. But let me tell you the story first. Um, so I was under the impression that once the third payment processor, because WAP is a big payment processor, usually they don't have a problem. Um, so I was like, okay, I'll wait for the payment processors. About another month, I asked them like, hey, where's the money? They were like, yeah, we're still having problem, and you know, um, just wait a little bit longer. I think they also mentioned like, hey, like you can always dispute with your credit card. And at the time, I didn't want to dispute with the credit card. First of all, I already waited for like 2 months, right? And then if you can't pay or if you can't deliver the service, then just refund the money. But I didn't think of it at the point. I was just like, I'm just gonna wait. And I think it got to the 3 months and this happened throughout like the 5 months. Every week they told me, hey, we escalated your case to upper management, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. They never get back to me. Every week I would have to text them. Every week I had to text them and be like, hey, yo, what's happening? Where's the fund? And usually they don't answer. They when I ask them where is the funds, they just tell me, oh, third payment processor. And it got to the point where like, I I called them out. I asked them, and where's the funds? I kept on pushing them, and they started ghosting me because I booked for phone call appointment, and I told them. I think after the second or third month, I told them I'm going to document everything because I felt something was wrong. Um, so they started ghosting me with the phone call appointments. I asked for the case numbers because there were so many times they told me that they escalated the case number or escalated my case to upper management many times. Um, and usually company when you open a case, there's a number, and I asked them, hey, I would like access to those numbers, and they didn't give it to me. I'm assuming they didn't have any. I'm just assuming. And I took it to social media, which is X, and I reached out to the founder, Gray Friend. You know, the he saw the message, so he inboxed me. He was like, "Hey, what's your email?" I gave him my email, and he said he would get back like the next day or whatever. And then after that, completely ghosted me. And then from there, the thread that I did on X, it's been 2 months. I've gathered all the evidence, all of the text messages. Yes, it's redacted. I uploaded the contract. The contract is important because I upload the contract to Grok, redacted, of course, and with chatbot nowadays, they can do all of that for you. They can do the heavy lifting. Um, but then again, they breached the contract, and they still hold the funds. I can bring them to court, but first of all, it's not worth the money. It will cost more money, and based on the language of the of the contract, sure, there is a chance that I might win, might, even though all the evidence are there. But when it comes to the justice system, you don't know, because of the language that they use. So I decided to take it to public, because why would I go to court when it's going to cost me money? I'm doing my own thing right now, and it's just not worth my time. So recently they blocked me, Cashew Pay, and the co-founder. So, and I kept on posting the evidence on there, and we're at a point where they, you know, I think the founder doesn't have the Cashew logo on his account anymore, and maybe they're rebranded right now. But I just can't believe that they would actually spend time on marketing, time on blocking, time on preaching to the audience, but then they don't have time to fix a case. And I had to take it to social media. And I also wrote a review on WAP. I'll tell you about WAP in a little bit, but that's where we're at. And I'll keep on providing the evidence. I'll keep on updating the audience of why, when I do business with someone, like I said, if you provide something and I'm paying for it, just don't screw me over. If you screw me over, then I'll just make it public. But anyway, that's where we are. And maybe right now on X they're rebranding, the Cashew Pay profile, the all of the affiliates on that page is no longer there. So I just recently made it. If you want to check out my X account, it is in the description. But the fact that YouTube took away my featured option, you have to copy and paste the link. Back then, people can just click on my book. People can click on the link to my other social media. People can donate. But since they cut it off, then it is what it is. And recently, I made a review. So WAP on Monty Friend Capital, MF Capital on WAP, there are 2 reviews and they're 1 star. I added another one, but man, I had a hard time writing a review, because everything that I just told you, all the evidence that I prove on X, I wrote the review, and WAP's terms of service, they said that the review was defamatory, but it wasn't. I was telling the truth. However, the language was in a way, right? And I spoke to support, and and they were nice about it. Actually, when MFC blamed WAP, the third party payment processor, it wasn't true, because WAP processed the payment on August 21st of 2025. So I found out that was not true. Later, I pushed them, and they admit that the reason why the payment were down, because they shut it off on their end for the transition from Monty Friend Capital to Cashew Pay. Now, this is the crazy part. After all of this, both websites are active and alive. So Cashew Pay went fully operational about 2 or 3 weeks ago. This whole time, they, for the past 7 months, they didn't want to give the payout, and they keep on blaming the processors, and that they don't have the fund. They're the one that's freezing it. And this whole time, MF Capital, they were operational. Their websites were live. And the crazy part, after the 2 weeks, I called them up and I asked them, hey, what is going on? Where's my fund? and they told me it's the payment processor, third party payment processor. So about 2 weeks later, which is in the month of like October or mid October, if you go on Trustpilot, there were reviews of people that were getting their conversion. And I asked them why, and they told me it was payment processor. And I asked them how come other clients are getting their conversion and not me. And that's why I called them out, because they lied, they blamed other people, they don't take accountability. And then I found out they lied some more. And when I presented facts and evidence, instead of try to resolve the issue, they blocked me. So it motivates me even more to make this live stream. And I tag Cashew or Try Cashew, which is previously known as MF Capital. And most likely they will block me on here too. But hey, it's my live stream. And, if they decided to do this, then it is my right to raise awareness, because I just don't like unethical people or unethical company. If you provide a service, if you run a company, just provide the service because people pay for it. So that's where we're at. But go back to the WAP review. It took me over 10 tries, right? And support were nice. I was flagged by the AI, not the support themselves. Every support I spoke to, they were nice about it. And then at the end, I was I was I was told by one of the rep, he or she, I don't remember, but they were like, "Hey, write the review, and then use Chat GPT, and they can rewrite what you wrote, not in a defamatory way." And I didn't use Chat GPT, can't say it fast, but I used Grok, and it took 2 tries. So I was able to get the review on there. Let me see. Should I show it to you? I mean, I understand, I understand maybe because the way that I wrote it, it was like, hey, they did the transaction, they didn't deliver, and they lied. Here are the evidence. I guess because of the language, it wasn't like harsh, but in a way where people read it, they'd be like, what the hell, man? In that sense. But let me show it to you. So this is show you the photo. But pretty much, can you see it? Okay, but that is the review on WAP there. It took me about 10 tries, but if you ever get flagged by the AI, and usually they don't tell you. That's the problem with companies nowadays. They don't tell you. You have to reach out and ask them why. And sometimes, at least with WAP, they gave me a very direct answer, like, hey, your review is defamatory. And I said, they're not. I can provide you the evidence. It's actually happened. They never delivered. They lied. They were like, yes, we understand, but but at least they were being straightforward. And on WAP, whenever you chat to a support, they actually send you the chat log. A lot of companies don't do it. They actually delete it when it doesn't benefit them. And to me, that is not honest. You want to support companies that are transparent, that don't act dictatorial or authoritarian. You want to support company that that are for clients, and they treat their employees well, and the service that they deliver. So my friend, that is that. I've learned that AI, you can use chatbot to do a lot of things, but even if they can, when companies are not being direct, when companies ban you or freeze your funds and they don't tell you, or they use contract, with wording, and there are limited recourse or no recourse at all. People get away with it. That is a very bad future. Um, because right now, if I were to tell you, hey, between the apocalypse, War 3, and the digital plantation, because all of these you're seeing is a digital plantation. If I were to give you the two lesser of evil, you would definitely pick a digital plantation because the other one is too bad. It's kind of like in America when we vote for left or right, it doesn't matter who. When they go up there, the same agenda, my friend. And and in the West, especially in America, I don't like to talk about other country because I don't know about other country. I live in America, I raised in America, and and that is why I want to talk about America. I want to talk America because the way that the country was founded, before the corruption, before everything, America was great. Like people around the world like America. They look up to the tradition. They People love America, but it's the people in America that are in power that are destroying America. And to me, that is so bizarre. Um, but anyway, don't pick the lesser of the two evils. We should we should speak out. We should support companies that are for the people, and when there is power or when there's overreach of something, just don't support it. Don't waste your money on it. Don't say it for what it is, because at least right now there is still some America left. But if we don't raise our voices, if we don't do anything about it, there will be no America. And that is a very, very bad situation. Anyway, I'd like to keep my live stream 1 hour. As usual, I'm speaking to myself, but I'm so used to it because these past 5 or 6 years, people talk a good talk. I'm a business owner. I don't work 9 to 5 no more. 9 to 5 are for slaves, um, but they don't know the countless. I think most business owners know the real ones. The ones that are actually doing the work, not the one that are ripping people off, not the one that are committing frauds, not the one that are committing scams. The real ones, the ones that like work their butts off 5 years, even 10 years without seeing the results, but they keep on working. You think 8 hours a day is long? I've been doing this for a long time. Okay, no pay. The last 5 or 6 years, just the camera and me. Going to different places. People think that I travel. Sure, I travel to learn, but also to stretch my money while building my brand. And even to this day, not even a single dollar, but I still do it. Some people don't believe in me. People around me, they'd be like, yeah, you ain't gonna make it. But it is what it is. After a while, if people don't see the result, they're gonna think, let them think. You have a vision. Becoming an entrepreneur, becoming a business owner, if it's easy, everyone would have done it. Just do it. Keep going. Get feedback. Get with the right people. But it takes longer than what we expect. We there are many ups, many downs, many years without results. Business struggle. Sometimes you run out of money. All sorts of things. People, even people will distant themselves from you. Why? Because you becoming crazy. And when you become crazy, you become dangerous. Why? Because you are closer to success. And that's all I have. Just building my brand, speaking my truth. And at any time, if you guys have been following me on my channel, welcome to get on live stream, chat with me, hang out. We can exchange, share ideas. What else? But anyways, all these years, as I have said in many of my streams, even though it's not where I wanted to be, but the skill sets are the most important thing. Because I couldn't have done the live stream, I couldn't have reached out to people or connect with people. I couldn't have, I wouldn't have seen my vision if I didn't start. You got to start somewhere. It's not easy. I mean, the 9 to 5 is pretty easy, right? Pretty secure, but it is all will ever be. If you just, if that's all you do, right? And sometimes it can get worse. Sure, if you have a job, you apply for a better pay, then it might be good, but it's not good. It's not good. You lose a job, oh shit, then what? But I will save it for the next live stream. Anyway, oh, so I almost forgot. All of these talk, how can we forget about a bipolar poet? Today, so with this one, I will read it to you. Oh man, let me get my other phone because I want to show it to you when I read it. Maybe I don't. Okay. If you love animals, we're friends. If you love life, we are friends. If you have a beautiful heart and a beautiful mind, we're friends. If you are a guru, I'll be your disciple. If you are a matrix, I'll be your flaw. If you are kind, I'll be your child. But if you are not blessed and you do meth and your life is a mess and you sold your soul to the devil too, I guess, a peasant in the matrix too, I bet. Geez, then we've never met. But if you roll with higher consciousness, then we are on the same boat, I guess. So it's pretty straightforward, right? Pretty straightforward. If you love animals, we're friends. If you love life, we're friends because you're happy people, you're kind, you're happy people. You're a happy person, you're a kind person. You have a beautiful heart, beautiful mind, creative, you're innovative, you're out there acing your creativity. But if you're a guru, meaning that if you're above me, then I'll be your disciple. I'll learn from you. If you know something um, about life, for example, then I'll learn from you. If you're a matrix, I'll be your flaw. A matrix, it means someone that is kind of like perfection, right? If like a person that present themselves as I'm perfect, there's nothing wrong with me. I am your flaw. You know what I mean? Um, if you are kind, then I'm your child. I love compassionate people. I admire them. Yep, I'm just a child. If you're kind, If this is the funny part, if you're not blessed, meaning you're a negative, pessimist person, always blaming other people, never yourself, scamming people, frauding people, lying. If you're not blessed and you do drugs, right? If you're not blessed and you do meth and your life is a mess, and you sold your soul to the devil, and you sold your soul to the devil too, I guess, meaning you will do anything for money. Your life is a mess. You keep on criticizing other people. You do drugs. Never about self transformation. If you're not in the self transformation camp, I don't fuck with you. Geez, then we've never met. But if you roll with higher consciousness, meaning everything is energy, everything is alive, everything, not just the three dimensional, but all dimensions. And there are infinite dimensions, okay? What do I mean by infinite dimensions? A spider has a dimension or lives in a dimension. Humans live in a dimension. Each animals, each thing that is alive lives in its dimension. Higher consciousness able to observe all of that, not just one perception, all perceptions, right? That is why I love the Buddha philosophy. It makes so much sense to me. But I also respect other religions. People that actually practice and do it, live by the religion, not the fanatic. And what else? Then if you roll with higher consciousness, then we are on the same boat, I guess. So if we are here to serve humanity, team humanity, whoever said that full of shit. But if you're here for team humanity, let's do it. Let's make the world a better place. Let's be more kind to one and another. Let's help each other. Let us live in love so we can innovate, not live in fear and exterminate. Um, so that is my message for today. Thank you, everyone. Yes, I thank you for watching and thank you for listening to my story, my live stream. I do this because I practice, and practice. Live stream is the only one that I haven't mastered yet, but I'm going to. I'm comfortable with camera. I don't like, with the DJI. The DJI, I love that camera. The DJI and we go everywhere together. And I'm okay with it. I can speak calmly, collectively, on topic, and present good content, raw content, good content. Most of I'm a very casual guy. Like, you see it in my work, you see it in my poetry, you see it, because even the way that I dress, um, and I keep on mentioning I'm a common guy with a common life. I'm a casual guy, right? Because luxury doesn't impress me. Nice things doesn't impress me. I mean, sure, I like it, but it's not something that I go after in life. Of course, like, I want to go eat at like either a nice restaurant. I don't want to eat. I don't want to be at the bottom of the barrel. I want to be at least minimum or high end. It's just a lifestyle, because if I'm capable of what I believe in, if I'm capable of doing what I do, then I deserve that life. And you should decide what kind of life you want. Um, but as far as like, being in a suit, always going first class, or only hang out with like, rich people, that's not me. I hang out with all people. Uh, Based on that poem, right? If you follow the 10 commandments for the Gazillionaires Club, I'm your friend. It's that simple. Don't care about your skin color. Don't care about, you know, nowadays, I have to say skin color. Don't care about your culture, as long as don't care about your religion. Don't care about what else. That's it. Just be a nice person, be a decent person, be considerate, be of other people, be kind. Okay, much love. I will see you in the next live stream soon, maybe this week or early next week. So bye.